accidents are high stress times for everyone involved. It's a good idea to make sure your organization has specific policies and guidelines in place, particularly around testing. Not sure what those should be? Here are 7 questions to help you figure out how to respond the next time an accident occurs, but hopefully it doesn't. First, was anyone hurt? And if they were, did they seek medical treatment? To be clear, nothing supersedes the need for medical attention, so if care is needed, that comes first. Now on to question number 2. Does the employee involved have a commercial driver's license, a CDL? If so, would the Department of Transportation, DOT, consider what happened a testable accident? And if they do, you'll need to follow DOT guidelines for post-accident testing. But however, if DOT doesn't come into play here, the third question to ask is it a testable accident according to your company policy? This means your organization needs to have an objective definition of an accident, usually related to the dollar amount of a vehicle or property damage and the severity of any injuries. This ensures that every incident is treated the same and you don't have to spend a whole lot of time deciding whether or not you should test. One more thing about your definition of an accident. Since OSHA has ruled that employees should not be penalized for reporting an accident, employers should not, in most circumstances, automatically test every accident, unless the employee could have caused or contributed to it. Alright, so if you've determined that you need to have a post-accident test, you're ready for the next set of questions. Number 4, are you going to test for drugs, alcohol, or both? Remember, as a result of the Americans with Disabilities Act, an alcohol test is considered a medical exam. So your policy should identify criteria that needs to be met to justify an alcohol test, like the severity or potential severity of an accident. Number 5, how soon should the drug test be performed? Hopefully your policy addresses this, but just for reference, DOT says an alcohol test should occur within 8 hours of an accident and within a drug test within 32 hours. And it's possible you might need to forgo that test if an employee is severely hurt or not able to be tested within the established time frame. Number 6, where will your employee go for the test and how are they going to get there? If your employee gets medical treatment, there is a chance the test could be done at the facility where the employee is receiving care. But this could be tough if you don't have a pre-existing relationship with that facility for them to do that testing. So consider asking whether or not they have an occupational medicine department that could help you get a test that meets your policy specifications. And if you need to send them somewhere else for that test, you'll need to think through how they're going to get there. For instance, there may be things that prevent them from driving themselves, like maybe they're injured or too shook up to drive, or maybe they're out of town and don't have a car, or the car they were driving is now undrivable. And number 7, after being tested, when can they come back on the job? Because of the circumstances of the accident, you might determine it's too risky to let them resume normal tasks before knowing the outcome of the test, especially if you have documented suspicion that they may have been under the influence at the time of the accident. And if you're going to hold them off the job until the test results come in, you need to decide if they'll still get paid. Knowing the answers to these 7 core questions might not take all the stress away, but at least you can approach the situation objectively and purposefully. And one final note. It's a good idea to have a point person, usually the administrator of your drug-free program, who can provide oversight on your post-accident testing process to ensure that decisions are policy-driven and consistent. This is especially important if you have more than one person who can make decisions around when post-accident testing should or should not happen. If you need help figuring out how your organization should answer these questions, you can always reach out to us. We'd be happy to help.